This episode is brought to you by Leprechaun Transport, who can transport your general goods anywhere around the metro area, the state and Western Australia. See you soon. G'day folks, how you going? Welcome to another episode. If this is your first time here, then a big special welcome to you, and maybe consider going down the bottom down there, hit the subscribe button and the little bell next to it, because that'll let you know when I've uploaded another video. And while you're hitting things down there, hit that thumbs up as well, because that really helps the channel out. That makes YouTube send my video off to other people and perhaps get them to view my channel as well. So this week we're going to continue in our looking at some of the things that we looked at while we were doing our recent series, the Bush to Beach series. So now last week we looked at the Pemberton Tramway, and this week we're going to go and have a look at the old Albany Gaol. Or what they used to call in the old days a gaol in the 1800s. Today we call it a jail. Now that's gaol as in G-A-O-L, not G-O-A-L. So this is a place I've really wanted to go and have a look at for quite a few years, but I've never really had the chance to get in there and have a look at. Anyway, enough of the gas bagging, let's get into it. Bloody amazing. Now Albany was the first official town in WA. It was established in 1826, with Perth being established in 1829. Now convicts didn't come to WA till about the mid-1850s. Now initially, when people in England were sentenced to transportation to Australia, they were horrified at the thought of being sent to a place somewhere on the other side of the planet. But after a few years, word started getting back to England that Australia actually wasn't such a bad place after all, at least for those that were doing the right thing. If you were a career criminal, then it wasn't so good. But if you kept your nose clean and did your time, you could be out pretty soon and actually making money. Now, back in England, life was crap. There was no money, no home, no work, and disease was everywhere. So people that had a trade would commit a petty crime and pray that they'd be sent to Australia. And if they were, the family members that were in the court were cheering and clapping, to the dismay of the court officials. They had no idea what was going on. Now back to the Albany jail. This jail was built in 1852 to house the skilled convicts that were being sent to Albany. Now originally it had one cell block and quarters for the warden. The prison's original key principal role was rehabilitation. Convicts who had obtained their ticket of leave were hired by free settlers for labour. Now, a ticket of leave is like a pardon. It was given to those that had shown they could be trusted with some extra freedoms. In 1873, it was extended to become a public prison to take the load off the town prison, which had about as many people going over the wall that were coming in through the door, if you know what I mean. In 1875 it was extended again with a women's cell block, a kitchen and a bakery, and an extra Wardens Quarters. In 1941 the jail was put up for sale because it was considered unfit for habitation. It wasn't until 1989 that work had started to restore the place, and in 1996 it opened up as a museum. So let's go in and have a look around. As you enter through the doors into what was the Wardens Quarters, you're greeted by your guide. shifty looking bugger. I don't know if I'd believe what he tells you. The first settlers had it tough, starting with nothing and living in tiny houses. The first room you come into is part of the old warden's office with some period items. Passing through the offices, you enter into the original cells, or what some might call today hotel quarantine.
I've been framed.
You're blocking the sense.
So according to the sign, this was a two-man cell. It's quite a roomy cell, but don't know how they got two blokes on the one bed. Throughout the other cells are other artefacts from the era. Apparently this poor fella fell off his bike. What do you think? Maybe a resemblance? Sometimes even posh people got locked up. The exercise yard was the only time prisoners could get fresh air and some daylight. In the days before barbed wire, broken glass was used to encourage prisoners to stay inside the walls. Inside the hall is a heap of really good old photos of Albany. There's a really neat model of the old Albany Town Hall in here. And outside the hall, some encouragement to toe the line. This is part of the second upgrade, which included the women's prison. And what a great place to call home. Irons left against the stove, waiting to be heated up so they can do the ironing with them. I can hear the music of the laundry now. During Albany's cold winters, the bakery would have to have been the best place to work. This was called a copper. It was used to boil water. Doesn't that look yummy? Then again. Passing the women's cells for a minute, we head up into the main kitchen area of the prison. Now this is probably where the wardens would have had their meals. The women's cells weren't really much better than the men's cells. Oh Jesus, that's enough to scare you straight. Well, no doubt that life in prison back in the 1800s was pretty tough, especially if that last one was your roommate. But yet apparently it's still better than life in old England. So as they say on the film set, that's a wrap. If you like that video, then help the channel out by hitting the thumbs up down below down there. And if you want to see more of this sort of thing, or product reviews, camping reviews, then hit the subscribe button and that bell down there as well so that you don't miss anything. Now I'm working on a couple of other things in the future. I'm not going to say anything more about it, but let's just say that one of them involves a camping shop. Shh. So to next week. Well, I'm a little bit nervous on this one because there's a few people have been hanging out for it, and that's the Whale World, or Historic Whaling Station. I still hate that name. I haven't looked at the videos yet, but my kids tell me they've left me a little bit something special on there, so we'll have to wait till next time to see what that is. But until then, happy travels!